Front Stoop, what's popping? It's your boy Sim the Pod Father, and I got my man Tony Crow in the building. Tony, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? Glad to be back. And this news is not
It's
going
not
away.
going away. Roc Nation, ladies and gentlemen, sued by Tony Buzbee. Um, a lot going on in this suit right now. A lot of tit for tat between Jay-Z, Tony Buzbee. According to CNN, and it's not just CNN, it's all over the place. Tony Buzbee is suing Roc Nation in a separate lawsuit. All right. So on Wednesday, December 18th, in Texas, Buzbee claims that Roc Nation has financed and Carter's attorneys at the law firm Quinn Emanuel have orchestrated an effort to solicit his clients to bring cases against Buzbee. All right. So this is what it says. Defendants have conspired to obstruct justice by engaging shadowy operatives to illegally seek out more than 24 current and former clients of the Buzbee law firm to convince those clients to bring frivolous cases against the Buzbee law firm. Buzbee claims in the lawsuit that more than 24 of his clients have been solicited, alleging that some have been approached by individuals who pretend to work for the state of Texas, which is a crime itself, and they flashed fake badges. Sounds like a movie. The lawsuit states that the firm's clients have provided audio of alleged interactions in which the individuals were offered money to take action against Buzbee. The suit includes transcripts of the alleged conversations. Former clients began to be contacted after Buzbee had sent a demand letter to Carter's lawyers in November, according to the law. So I guess demand letters to cease and persist, cease and desist, whatever the term is, what they were doing, according to Buzbee. Buzbee told CNN on Wednesday that he will provide the court the audio recordings as evidence should they be requested. Paying individuals to file false claims is unethical and criminal in the state of Texas. Impersonating a state official is a crime. In at least one case, defendants' agents offered as much as $10,000 to a former client of Buzbee to sue the firm. Their agents were caught on audio tape red-handed. Tony, what do you think about this? First of all, do you think it's true?
He claims to have audio evidence, which if that's accurate and that proves to be true, it's going to be damning. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt the company. It's going to hurt the lawyers. It's gonna go to their credibility.
And it hurts Jay-Z.
The same way they went Buzbee's credibility. I think he's going right back at their credibility.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. That's exactly what he's doing. Going after their credibility. And not only, if this is true and it's actually happened, it makes Jay-Z look really suspect, right? Makes it look like he's unethical, like he would do anything to get his way, that he was actually trying to strong arm Buzbee, all of those things, right? And it just, if it ends up being true, whether or not Jay-Z even knew about it, right? Because this is Roc Nation and Jay-Z's law firm. Whether or not he even knew about it, it will make him look like he's shiesty if it turns out to be true. You know what I mean?
He could not be aware. You know what I mean? He could have gave them the money and said, "Do your job."
Do your job.
And, you know what I mean? Do it up. You know what I mean? Do what you do.
Yeah, he could very well not be aware, but it doesn't stop him from being implicated, I guess, right? Because on the outside looking in, people are going to say, okay, maybe you weren't aware, but you hired these people to do your work for you. And they've been doing your work for you. They've been doing work for you for years. At some point, you probably knew that they were shady or they were doing something shiesty, or they used unethical tactics to conduct business. You know what I mean?
And
So it could come back on him.
even if he has full anonymity and he doesn't get the brunt of the the effects of it,
Yeah.
as far as directly, it's still gonna just hurt him.
It hurts him.
You know what I mean? Because now you got to start looking for new attorneys if this is the case.
Yeah.
And I would think Roc Nation could potentially, like, he would be in the same position as Roc Nation in a sense, as far as least liable. The people who would be the most liable will be the lawyers and the people who committed these
Yeah.
crimes.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I
Because
mean?
I'm pretty sure that they would say, listen, he didn't know that we were doing these things to try to accomplish whatever goal it was. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he would come out in a statement and say, if it were found to be true, I had nothing to do with it. I hired them to do the job for me, and these are the tactics that they used, and I'm firing them immediately. You know what I mean, or whatever it is. Either way, it wouldn't look good. Now, I mean, this is typical stuff that happens, right? Lawyers go back and forth, suing each other, suing businesses, to try to, just using dirty, just getting down and dirty to try to win.
Anything that can slow down the process. Hurt your pockets to slow down your money.
Yeah.
Proceed.
This is obviously being played out publicly, but things like this go on every day between things that aren't as publicized. You know what I mean? So it's typical. But then, as it relates to the allegations by the accuser, saying like, all of this, I don't know. I can't see that this would be used as evidence, but in the public's eye and any jury's eye, they're gonna obviously see this, and they're gonna know what's happening, and they're gonna know the results of this if the results happen, or the allegations, if the audio tapes come out, like they'll hear and they'll see this, and subconsciously they'll take that into account, right? Subconsciously they'll say, yeah, well, he did that. If it came out to be true, he did that, he must be shiesty. Or Tony Buzbee tried to sue him for that and it was garbage. Why wouldn't this be garbage too? You know what I'm saying? It's drama in front of our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? This thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't think it's gonna stop.
What was your thoughts on the interview?
Which interview?
The alleged victim.
Well, we can listen to some of it. You know what I mean? We listen to some of it. Let's see what Throckmorton, I don't know what all of that says, but it says, yep. They try to get as many people as possible in the industry blackmailed / compromised into a position to make others money, and then shut the fuck up.
STFF.
Yeah. Nah, no doubt about it. You're definitely right when it comes to that. This is how things go in the industry, right? Suing back and forth, and you know what I mean? It's a different world from what we live, but and talking about the alleged victim, speaking about the incident, this was a couple of days ago, of course. I don't know what I think about it, to be honest with you. But let's listen to just a little part of the interview. And this is from NBC. We're only going to hear the audio right now, ladies and gentlemen. All right, because I don't want YouTube to take it down. I don't want NBC to say, "Hey, give me some money." So we're just going to listen to the audio, and then we'll talk about it. But this is the victim and NBC explaining their interview with the victim.
At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. "I feel like I would remember that, and I don't," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said, in remembering what happened 24 years ago. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me."
Okay, let's stop it right there. So I have questions, right? She said she was woozy. And being woozy, she remembers who did what. I don't know how woozy she was. I don't know if there's any way to actually prove how woozy she was. But she was woozy. But she can remember who did what. She could also wooze her way
to the gas
station.
Out the house,
Right. Away from everything. And then call her father, who does not remember the incident. And then she says that they rode home in silence and didn't speak about it. So
a lot of questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions there. Now, I think you said it earlier. She was 13 years old. So there's going to be, she's not going to remember everything because it was 24 years ago. So she's not going to remember everything. Some of those big things, if you're the father, you're going to remember that. I don't care.
That is the biggest thing.
Yeah. You're going to remember. I would remember having to leave out of my house at whatever time in the morning to pick my daughter up because she was, she needed my assistance.
The only thing I didn't like in the father's comment was he said, "I don't recall that. I was going through a lot at the time, or going through a lot then, but I think I would remember that." Like, he could have just left it at he doesn't recall. The fact that he opened the door with, "I was going through a lot."
That's him not wanting to say she was wrong or she's lying, right? That's him trying to leave that door open to say, this could have happened. I was going through a lot that maybe I just don't remember it because I had so much going on in my life at the time. So I don't really remember what happened or remember that incident. You know what I mean?
Just like you said, and I'm a father as well of a daughter, you know what I mean? There's no way.
There's no way.
You know what I mean? There's no way I'm saying I think I would remember that. No, yeah. I know I would.
I would remember that. There's no doubt in my mind.
And that's my only. You know what I mean? Like, you left that door open for doubt, even in yourself. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah.
So I didn't like that at all.
Right.
When you said this was a couple of days ago when the interview came out. I mean, it seemed like a victory, for Jay-Z, right? Yeah. If you want to look at it that way. I mean, even his response, which I think you have, you know what I mean, the quote of where he said, you know what I mean, that sounded victorious, right? That sounded, like he, and it was immediate. It was part of, you know what I mean, it was part of the clip,
right?
So
and if it were me, and my daughter made these claims 24 years later, and if I didn't remember, I wouldn't speak to the media. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't come out and say, I don't remember. That's dumb. I wouldn't say anything. I'd keep it between my daughter and my lawyer or her lawyer.
And
why is
it
okay?
seems like they reached out to the father and got the quote, right?
Right.
It's not like he was there at the interview with her,
right.
recording her. So obviously there's
a disconnect somewhere
somewhere.
because why wouldn't Tony Buzbee had told the whole family, shut up, don't say anything. We're gonna have her speak to the media and that's it. Nobody else say anything. So there's got to be a disconnect somewhere between the daughter and the father, at least. You know what I'm saying? Because what he says contradicts her for the most part. And if they were on the same team, he just wouldn't have spoke. He would have been instructed by Tony Buzbee not to speak, in my opinion. So I don't know. To me, there's a disconnect there. Something ain't right. Something's not right. You know, so we'll see how that plays out. Now she stands by it still, right? She stands by the accusations. She's admitted some inconsistencies, but she stands by the accusations. And of course, Jay-Z is, saying that it just didn't happen, right? Here's the rest of that interview on NBC.
In a statement to NBC News, Sean Carter said, "This incident didn't happen. True justice is coming. We fight from victory, not for victory." A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
Is any part of you scared coming out against such powerful people?
I'm scared of what could happen, but I'm more afraid of letting it eat me alive from the inside out.
Chloe Malas, NBC News.
So, 24 years.
I speak from victory.
From victory.
Not for victory.
Yeah.
That sounded celebratory, right? That sounded justified.
Right.
It sounded like he felt like her interview was a win for him.
Yeah. Right. Right. And it was. I mean, once you start to admit inconsistencies, that's a win for somebody else once you start to admit that. In other news in this case, Jay-Z's lawyer has unaffiliated Jay-Z from Diddy, or at least is attempting to unaffiliate himself from Diddy. And it only makes sense that he does that, right? This is Diddy's lawyer. Jay-Z's lawyer speaking about the relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy. Let's take a listen.
Will Mr. Carter say anything more specifically about Mr. Combs? He didn't really address him in his statement, but anything since outlets and internet speculation have tried to affiliate the two of them. He didn't really, in his statement, specifically say anything about any of the allegations.
Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions. People know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. That's all that there is. He doesn't know anything about the charges or allegations against him. He has nothing to do with that case. And there's nothing more to say.
All right. So, your thoughts. What do you think? Your thoughts on that? I mean, come on. We know the history.
I agree it's smart, right? I agree it's smart, but I also am skeptical because I don't believe that, right? I don't think you believe that. They're just associates, then there is no friendship.
Nah.
And I think historically, right? Like just from social media, just from pictures, just from interviews, just from sound bites.
Right.
I think it could be easily proven that you guys are more than those two are more than associates.
Right.
The fact that you're saying he has nothing to do with the case.
That's
when
true.
when the from Jay-Z's statements,
That's from
it
Jay-Z's
it, it,
statements. That's true.
it,
His
it, it
perception.
was the case or this never happened. You know
Right.
what I mean? So it always seemed as if any win for Jay-Z was gonna be a win for Diddy
Right.
for this particular case. Like, it's hard to separate him from the case when he's now unredacted name
Yeah. Right.
celebrity A.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I mean? And then the only other weird thing is everything else we've heard was directly Jay's words.
Right.
And so I guess that is kind of the smart thing, because this is your lawyer speaking for you.
Mm-hmm.
These are not coming out of your mouth saying, me and Sean Combs aren't friends
Yeah.
or
Right.
so
Right.
that's what that's distinct for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not Jay-Z saying it. Everything else we heard was bars, and it was coming from Jay-Z.
Coming
You
from
know what I mean?
Jay-Z. Yeah. Yeah. Now, and I mean, so it's coming from his lawyer, but obviously his lawyer is representing him. So, I'm pretty sure Jay-Z knows that his lawyer is going to say, we've got to unaffiliate you from this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely,
You
but
have to. And I'm
it's
positive Jay-Z agrees.
but I think it's distinct that everything else
Yeah.
that we've heard was Jay-Z's
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And this is like the first time we're hearing the
And
lawyer speak up and out for him.
if it were me, if I were Tony Buzbee, with what you're saying right now, Jay-Z had his lawyer say this and not Jay-Z, I'd say this to me is proof that they are friends. Because a friend is going to be like, I can't, I don't want to come out against my guy and say that I'm not friends with him, right? Where if I'm Tony Buzbee, I'm like, let me hear Jay-Z say that publicly. Let me hear Jay-Z write a letter like he did last time and say, I am not affiliated with Diddy. I'm not friends with Diddy. Right? We're associates. We're work associates. That's it. We've known each other because we're in the industry, but I'm not friends with this guy. Let me hear Jay-Z come out and say that. That's what I would do if I was Tony Buzbee. I'd put that out there. Force Jay-Z to have to do it.
Disassociating himself from him is also allowing him to get a win without Diddy getting a win, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, earlier, it was like, you know what I mean? If I could debunk this, I'm debunking it for both of us. You
Right.
separate. You're no longer saying this did not happen. You're saying I was not there.
I was not there. Right. I'm not part of it. You know what I mean? I can't speak upon that, but I'm not part of it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, if I'm Tony Buzbee, I'm like, you say that, Jay. And you say that. If you're not friends with this guy, if you're not friends with Diddy, you come out and say that. I'm sure Jay would come out and say it. I would, I guess. Especially if I wasn't part of it, I'm like, nah, I'm not affiliated with him. We did business together. And Diddy, I'm sure you would think understand it, but listen, the social media proof is out there about the two being close, being friends, and all of that. That doesn't mean Jay-Z did it, But the problem that I have is when you start to, he's got to separate himself. He's got to separate himself. But it also,
did something change that he has to now? Because he could have, and in my opinion, should have done this from the beginning.
Okay, yeah. There's something changed to make him want to do it now. I don't know. I think probably just maybe just the question being asked. I don't know. He should have done it from the beginning. right? I mean, it only makes sense. Like, listen, right in that letter, me and Diddy have been business associates, nothing more, nothing less. I was not there. You know, whatever he said. You know what I mean? So yeah, it makes sense to separate yourself, but also it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? You know, because someone could also, yeah, we were friends, but I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know anything else that he was doing in his personal life. We wasn't that kind of friends. You know what I mean? Like, you put my name into it, we weren't friends like that. You know what I'm saying? He lived his life, I lived my life. We dapped each other up when we saw each other. We said hi. Maybe we shared some text, talked on the phone, but that's it.
Same thing the lawyer said. You know, at the All-Star game, we support each other. You know, music awards, we see each other, we speak. But yeah, I'm with you.
You know,
but at the same time, had that been the initial stance, would Jay-Z have been looked at in a different light? And I'm speaking like outside public perception.
Say that again. What did you say?
A lot of people wondered why we haven't heard from Jay-Z, and he hasn't made a comment separating him or, you know, trying to vindicate Puff.
Right.
But at the same time, a lot of people thought it was commendable of him being quiet and not saying, you know what I mean, not having a stance.
Yeah, because I think it's a no-win situation for Jay. Right? Before he was indicated in anything, if you come out to vindicate him, then it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's your man. You was probably, it's already rumors out there about Jay. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a no-win situation. You know, you come out to try to vindicate him and he's found guilty now, you know what I mean? You know, it's like, all right, well.
You separate yourself too early.
Early. Now that don't look good. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? You separating yourself from your man, like, you know? So I think it's a no-win situation for him to come out and say anything before his name was mentioned. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that, I don't think you can win. Just like Nas. There's no way he could win if he comes out and says anything. He got a whole video with Puffy in it. Right? Hate Me Now.
True. He also got records where he's
got records where he, said a few things, But even recently, with the whole King's Disease albums, you know what I mean? There were videos of them. I think Diddy was in one of the videos. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's best to just not say nothing. And just go on about your business, because I don't think you can win either way. I think, once you say something, you kind of put your name in it.
Put your name in it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be affiliated with that. So, yeah. I don't know. But anyway, I mean, there's going to be a lot going on with it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep following it. We'd like to hear your comments, see your comments. Put your comments down below under the video. I want to know what you're talking about. I want to know what you're thinking. You can even call the number and leave a message. I'll play the message over the, if you want to call the number. I mean, if you don't want to call now, that's cool. You can just call the number, leave a message, and we could talk about your comment.
I also thought, I'm just stuck on that stance of, that the separation from Diddy is not coming from Jay-Z directly. And it's also coming off of what was a seeming victory, right? So it almost felt like after her holes in the lady's story, it almost felt like you didn't have to separate yourself. So I'm like, that's what I'm wondering. Is there more that he knows is coming down the pipeline that is
making him say, and get myself from out of this? It could be. And Throckmorton said, I just commented on another channel about double-edged sword. That sometimes one edge is sharper than the other. Funny timing right there. You right about that. Sometimes one edge can be sharper than the other. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick your poison. You know what I mean? And, you know, sometimes you're forced to pick your poison. Like right now, Jay is forced to pick his poison. You know what I mean? Because his name is implicated. It's gonna be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. You know, really interesting.
I didn't think 2025 was gonna be crazier than 2024, but it feels like it's going to be. And right from, you know what I mean, like just like Kat set it off last year.
Yeah.
It feels like it's not gonna stop.
Yeah, 2020 flows, everything getting exposed. Who really the bros? Yeah. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time, man. It's a short one, but a sweet one. Let us know what you think, man. We out of here. Peace.